No talk about the Android operating system is complete without discussing all the different versions of the OS and the yummy code names for them. Let's take a quick look at each of the different major versions of the operating system and some of the highlights of each. Android has quite a few releases since its first version in 2008, which unfortunately didn't have a code name. In this chart, I'm giving you the code name for each version, the major version numbers that were included, and a few of the notable features, as well as the date of the release. You can see here that we first started off with Android version 1.0 and 1.1 in September of 2008. Next, we had an Android version that was codenamed Cupcake, and that was version 1.5, and it added some basic support for camcorders and the idea of widgets and folders. Up next was Donut, and Donut added the capabilities of navigation, or the turn-by-turn navigation that you're probably used to, and text-to-speech. Eclair came next, and with that there were some big UI improvements because this was Android operating system version 2.0. Also came with that live wallpapers, which I tend to find annoying. Froyo was next up, and it was an incremental improvement over 2.0. It provided some things like tethering and improved the Bluetooth capabilities of Android. Next up was Gingerbread, and this added near-field communications, which is an interesting feature that's not available on very many phones today, but I think in the future will be used a lot more, which basically allows you to read and send data with your phone and is used for payment systems. It also supported multiple cameras. Next up was Honeycomb, and we talked about this in the history, and this was basically an OS version that was designed just for tablets. After that came Ice Cream Sandwich with the big 4.0, and that had some really big UI improvements. And you can see from the previous module when we looked at 2 versus 4 how different those two OSs are. Then finally came Jelly Bean, which was Android versions 4.1 and 2, and one notable feature here is in Jelly Bean tablets, you can actually have multiple users. And Android 5.0 is supposed to be called Key Lime Pie, but we don't know a lot about the features and functionality of that operating system, at least at the time that I was recording this course.